And it is time for the best metal albums of the year 2021. Welcome to Forge Master Metal Reviews. This is the place where you get the most out of your metal.
This year was pretty fucking amazing for metal releases. I know everybody says that, but it really was. Be sure you check out or be on the lookout for our subgenre coverage of death metal, black metal, doom metal. Those are either posted already or they'll be in the description. Just fucking be on the lookout for them. While you're doing that, obliterate the like button and subscribe if you're new.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for, metal fiends. Let's get into our favorite metal albums from 2021.
My first pick is Unto Others Strength, released September 24th on Roadrunner Records. I've been a huge fan of these guys since their first moniker, Idle Hands, and their Don't Waste Your Time EP. Absolutely fucking phenomenal release. Their first full-length, Mana, was released in 2019, and I adored it as well as the metal community did. So needless to say, Strength had a ton of fucking hype on my radar, and I can say that this album delivers to the absolute possible fucking max and beyond my expectations. The album starts off with a fucking fury and doesn't let up. And one big thing I noticed on Strength was the far more aggressive posture with the gothic and traditional metal sound, which I absolutely loved. Everything was just pushed up a little bit more, and it was well appreciated. The grunts and the hooah chants, all that stuff was more pissed off than ever on this album, and the songs are expertly written and tightened up around great songwriting and earworm vocal melodies. Arthur Risk really fucking nailed the production on this album. He nails that lo-fi sound, but also the clear modern precision that you would want in an album like this. You got fantastic mixing centered around somber and old school, really amazing tones without sacrificing the power. This album is easily deserving of an album of the year list like this one, and actually it is my fucking album of the year. It's that good. 5 out of 5 War Horses.
I'd like to preface my picks with this disclaimer. There were a lot of great records from this year, and I wanted to just kind of choose a variety of genres, so my overall picks will show a bit of diversity. These are all albums that I consider to be both genre-defining or highly unique. Boss Keloid Family, The Smiling Thrush. This album was released on Ripple Music and completely captured me from the moment that I heard the song Gentle Clovis. This psychedelic-inspired sludge band has conjured together an album that is more akin to a meditative experience than a metal album. If you watch this channel enough, you'll quickly learn that introspective music really captures us. Boss Keloid has created a wonderful piece of art with this record, taking themes of exploring the human conditions by singing about things like generosity, thankfulness, and the duality of our mystical existence. This album fucking blows me away. It has received a lot of well-earned praise this year and has certainly made a very long-lasting impression on me since June. 4.8 out of 5 nesting thrushes.
Tribulation, where gloom becomes sound. I don't see a lot of channels covering this one, and I know Metal Meltdown, this is one of your favorites, and it is one of mine. This was released on January 29th of this year. Those who watch this channel, and for you new folks, we love anything gothic and doomy and on the blackened side. I had a hard time fitting this album on our best black or doom metal videos, so I decided to put this one on our year-end list. Yes, it's that fucking good. It's deservedly so. We're sad boys at heart, and when an album like Tribulation's newest effort comes out, we get very excited to throw on those gloomy clothes and go for badass cemetery walks with headphones on. Their previous album, Down Below, was also fantastic, and Where Gloom Becomes Sound does not disappoint. My only gripe with this album, and there are minor gripes, are the first few songs are a bit slow to start off the album. They're great songs, but they're a little bit slow. Do not let that stop you, though, from spinning this record, because it is a fucking gem. Once the mid-record track Leave kicks in, the album started to really click for me, but the whole album is just phenomenal. Upbeat, gloomy songs, badass guitar harmonies, Tribulation are firing on all fucking gravestones here with a sense of mysticism that I always look for in this band. You absolutely need to listen to this full record to get the experience. Don't miss out on it. 4.8 out of 5 gloomy statues.
Self-proclaimed stoner punkers, Bokassa, have released their third full-length record on Napalm Records with the clever title Molotov, Rocktail, and it has landed right here solely on one of my favorites of the year. This Norwegian band takes elements from skater punk, hardcore, sludge, and stoner metal and just fuses them into this awesome blend. Imagine the coolest parts of, I don't know, bands like NoFX, Fu Manchu, the Melvins, and Clutch, all finally blended into a beautiful serving. The music is very tongue-in-cheek, chanting choruses, riffs that burn into your brain, and incredibly strong songwriting is just gonna leave you begging for repeat listens. The final track is an absolute monster. Immortal Space Pirate 3 is one of the best songs I've fucking heard of all times. And man, I just can't get enough of this album. It's fun, it's gritty, there's fucking neck-breaking grooves, you're gonna love it. 4.9 out of 5 barbarians riding pink Pegasuses.
This one's no surprise because we talked about it so much. 1914, Where Fear and Weapons Meet, released 22 October on Napalm Records. We've said it before, The Blind Leading the Blind was one of the best black metal albums of 2018 and easily in the top 5 of war metal, black metal records anyways. It's clear that 1914 sound has evolved since then, and we've got some really amazing stuff on this album where we're starting to mix in black metal, old school death metal, all these really cool elements of black gaze and symphonic black metal. All these things mix perfectly to this perfect artillery fucking thundering war tank of doom and destruction. You still got the black metal and old school death metal roots in here, but everything has been upgraded with all of these different elements that just meld perfectly. This album sits on my favorite extreme metal records of all fucking time. It's that good. This album gets a perfect score. It is that good. 5 out of 5, blood-soaked war trenches.
I'm right there with you, dude. Easily probably my favorite album of the year. I can't recommend it enough. It might even be, as you said, one of my favorite extreme metal albums of all time. It's just, if you haven't listened to this, listen to this one first before anything else. 2021 delivered a slew of albums from bands that have been around for decades. Asphyx, Cynic, Halloween, Cannibal Corpse, Carcass, At the Gates, Exodus. These guys have all been around for fucking years. These 50-something-year-olds inspire us to keep our skills sharp and to treat our life as a marathon because you never know at what age you will become a champion. Flotsam and Jetsam have released champion level metal with their album Blood in the Water. This is a majestically vicious melodic thrash and heavy metal concoction that is absolutely monstrous in its brutality. This record isn't flawless from front to back. There are a few songs that rate, a 3, 3.5, but still, that's about as low as the average gets. Their unique take on a ballad with Cry for the Dead, it's not very rosy. It's more of a grim, vengeful sort of lamentation. I didn't love it, but it fit the mood for the rest of the album, which is just pure and simple belligerent anger at the state of the world in which we live in. This anger is harnessed so well in Blood in the Water with the riffs, the production, the vocals, the melodies, the brutality. Man, this is just one of the best records of 2021. I give Blood in the Water 4.8 out of 5 Emerging Dragons.
This one might come as a surprise. Knocked Loose, A Tear in the Fabric of Life. Released 13 October on Pure Noise Records. I love when metalcore bands borrow from death metal. And I'll admit that this EP was actually my first run with this band, and I fucking regret the fact that I've been missing out on Knocked Loose for so long. I noticed how unbelievably pristine and fucking dynamite the production was on this release, my first spin with the record. Holy shit, this is just a new level in terms of what metal production can sound like. There are so many twists and turns on this album. There are pop references. I love the fact that they use the sampler from the 60s pop song God Only Knows. The songs feel like you're just recklessly spinning a sledgehammer in a fucking china shop and just connecting with everything and laying waste to the entire goddamn room. My favorite thing about this band, though, I think is the vocals, the visceral intensity, the pains and the screaming of a madman that wants nothing more just to rip your fucking face out of your skull. One of my favorite releases of 2021, and I've been spinning the shit out of this in my home gym, and yes, picking things up and putting them down has never felt better than with this fucking album. 4.8 out of 5 sledgehammers.
Dordeduh. This is one of the albums that has carried over from my best black metal of the year so far, and I gotta say that I really think it deserves a spot right here on my overall list as well. It's definitely metal, but it's so much more. This album has just as much world and folk inspiration as it does heavy-ass syncopations, punishing grooves. It's really unexpected from this album that really kind of creates its own arcane atmosphere to just be all of a sudden pummeled in the head by this 4/4 slamming groove riff. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? But it's so well done. Upon first hearing this, I knew it was going to be something special. It has kept its head above the water in the sea of the many other metal albums from this year that are fantastic. Nearly a perfect score for me, 4.9 out of 5 Greek Shamans.
And my last pick here is In Mourning, The Bleeding Veil, released November 16th on Dallapop Records. There are very few melodic death doom bands that I could say are consistently amazing in their releases, and In Mourning are absolutely one of them. In Mourning are titans of their fucking craft, favoring the gloomy sounds, but keeping things fresh with progressive and interesting compositions within the melodic death doom landscape. The Bleeding Veil is a fucking treasure of an album that I could not put down. And to be honest, I wish I had more time with it in 2021, but that doesn't change the fact that this is one of my absolute favorite metal albums to come out this year. The production is stunning, pushing and pulling with the dynamics of the band. The clean parts are actually quiet. The heavy parts are actually loud, you know, like what music should fucking do. The album really holds absolutely nothing back and totally shines on every single member's strengths throughout its exceptionally paced runtime. The Bleeding Veil is no doubt their best effort since Monolith came out, and eons ahead of what most gloomy melodic death doom bands are trying to do in modern music today. A new bar has been fucking set here, folks, for the Swedish sad boys. This album is a perfect album in my eyes. 5 out of 5 monochromatic stains. Oh, and also check out their new live performance on YouTube. It is fucking insane how tight these guys are in a fucking room together.
As soon as I heard this one, I knew that we were going to just swoon over it. We love this type of material. There aren't many bands that are doing what In Mourning is doing as tight and accessible as they are. They are in their own subgenre of that sort of progressive, doomy metal. It is just so good. Last but not least, yet another record that has carried over from our best of the year so far list. One that we both love here is Wolf King, The Path of Wrath. If you can't tell, we enjoy black metal in a wide variety of flavors. Bands like Harakiri for the Sky, The Lion's Daughter, Violet Cold, Mole, and others have really done an awesome job blending American hardcore in a European black metal. What I love about Wolf King compared to these other releases is that they delivered a much more gritty, visceral flavor of hardcore-inspired black metal. The songs are raw, dissonant, and dare I say, kind of uncomfortable to listen to at times. Despite moments of wincing and cringing, this album really knows when to pull you back into the fray so you can groove, headbang, and then mosh along with the ferocity that is Wolf King's musical section. With 12 tracks and a 52-minute long total runtime, this record is actually perfectly paced. 52 minutes, you'd think, that seems a little long. This album, I'm glad, did not get pushed aside for other albums. There were a lot of contenders, but man, this one really just stuck with me. Perfect score, 5 out of 5 spiritual abominations.
The Wolf King stayed on his fucking throne.
Absolutely, well deserved.
And what are your favorite metal albums from 2021? Leave those down in the comments below. And while you're doing that, murder the shit out of the like button and subscribe if you're new.
As always, go with the gods, our Forge Master brethren. Stay knee deep in the dead. Take care.
Led by the moles, back of the devil,